Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another video. This one is about Titanic. I know there's a lot of people that love Titanic that are on the channel, so we're going to take a look at this, guys. This was recommended for me to watch. Someone actually sent me a message over on Patreon to watch this because I did put a post on about something similar about this over on Patreon. So, guys, if you have any requests about movies or the topic around movies, so this is a topic around the movie Titanic, yes, of course. So if you got any requests, send them in to me, guys, and I'll go take a look at them, whether, judging by the title, yes, I'm not going to look at the video, but judging by the title, whether it's worth looking at or not, guys. Only because while I have things rendering for the main channel, I can't actually record full movies, yes, because the full movies, it's just, it's impossible to do that, yeah, because I have to record for the 2 hours or a little bit more than that, which is basically impossible for what I'm doing right now, yeah. But I can only just record this, guys, because my computer will explode. I don't have the fastest, most powerful computer in the world. So I thought while rendering, while I have things rendering in Sony Vegas open up, I will watch these guys and record them because, I mean, I will watch these in my spare time. So I thought, why not do it? And I decided to do it over on Patreon first, but YouTube are going to be getting this as well. But in the future, Patreon will get these first, like a day before. I'm not too sure if you're going to see this right now or the next day, but guys, this is called Bone Chilling Titanic Facts No One Knew. Interesting. There's some things that, conspiracy theories that I've been finding out about Titanic, and yeah, I'll be very interested to see what this video has to say. Like I said, this one was requested over on Patreon. Yeah, let's just go head in, guys. Let's go diving straight in. As always, guys, let us know what you think about the video. Don't forget to subscribe and go, well, it's not up there, wow, down here, down below, Patreon, guys. Go check Patreon out where you can watch Titanic the movie in full, as well as other movies and TV series over on Patreon as well. Go check that out, guys. I'm sure you will enjoy that too. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, let's go right into this. I hope you'll enjoy it. Let's do it. Come on, let's go. Boom, 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 boom.
Hello, everyone. If you ask your friends what's the most famous ship in history, the answer in most cases will be the same. Of course, the legendary Titanic. Its history is full of mysteries. At first, it was a source of hope and national pride, as well as proof of the triumph of mankind. But it soon became a source of nostalgia and pain, the extent of which cannot be described in words. The day the Titanic sank underwater will forever remain one of the most painful days in human history. And although more than 100 years have passed since the tragic event, no one has forgotten about it, and people are still interested in the transatlantic liner. Today, we will tell you some facts about the Titanic that will surprise you.
And I think that's what makes it so beautiful and mystique, is not necessarily the people that die. Yes, that is sad. That is so sad. That is the worst way to die, is being frozen. Basically, being frozen to death would be the worst because it's slow and painful and you can't do anything about it. But the thing is, there's so many different storylines that come out about this now, yeah? It's just, wow, just unbelievable.
Everyone could have been saved. On April 14th, 1912, at 11:40 p.m.
Exactly everyone? That's debatable.
The Titanic hit an iceberg, receiving fatal damage.
Okay.
A couple of hours later, at 2:20 a.m., the ship split in two and within minutes sank completely. During all that time, the ship sent out distress signals that did not go unnoticed. The ocean liner RMS Carpathia rushed to the site of the wreck at full speed, but unfortunately arrived an hour and a half later.
Oh, that sucks. An hour and a half later. Alright, so that must have been the one from the film, was it? Was that the one from the film, guys, that ended up picking them all up? That sucks. An hour and a half later.
crew of the Carpathia could do was to pick up the 710 survivors of the shipwreck, but the story could have been very different. Only after some time, it became known that the ocean liner RMS Carpathia was not the closest ship to the Titanic. Around 12:45.
Shut the front door. What?
5 a.m. on that terrible night, the officers of the Titanic noticed the lights of another ship in the distance. It was the SS Californian, but the ship did not respond to the calls for help.
Why?
The captain
Why?
of the Titanic tried desperately to get his colleagues' attention by firing white flares. It may seem surprising, but the watch officers of the SS Californian saw every single one of them. The crew immediately woke the captain, but unfortunately, he did not give it any importance. The only radio operator.
Oh, no way. I bet you he's living with that guilt for the rest of his, or he was living with that guilt for the rest of his life. Oh, Struth. Oh my gosh.
Who could receive the distress call was asleep at the time. The SS California
Of course. The irony. The irony. Of course he was asleep.
decided that the flares were just a signal from an unknown ship that had stopped on the ice. So the passenger ship, which was very close, simply passed by. Today, experts agree that the SS Californian could have saved many, or perhaps all of the lives that were lost that night. That is, over 1,500 people.
Yeah, see, that's the thing, guys. I don't know. I just for a ship to be just be so close, but yeah, just sail by because the captain says, "Oh, don't worry about it. It's just probably someone shooting from the icebergs."
The victims remain unknown. Of course, every global tragedy is followed by a large number of complex and very thorough investigations. If you look at the official figures, it turns out there were 1,514 victims of the shipwreck. But the truth is much more complicated. The exact number of victims is actually not known. It could be 1,490 or 1,635. Moreover, the investigations weren't very useful. So far, no one knows the names of all the people who died on the Titanic. When the
See, I was thinking this, guys, the other day. I was thinking this about the Titanic. Do you think maybe there was a lot more than they anticipated that were on the Titanic? That's why there wasn't enough boats. I was just thinking this, yeah. I could be completely wrong. Hey, I've been wrong plenty of times. But I was just thinking this. Maybe there was more people than there was supposed to be allowed on the ship. That's why a lot of people missed out on boats as well, yeah? Just let me know about that, guys. Let me know. I find it really weird, though, how there wasn't enough boats. If they knew how many people were going on the ship, why would you have less boats? I don't know. And there's some people saying that some boats were cut and let go and.
bodies were recovered from the bottom of the ocean, it was discovered that many passengers were traveling under false names. Also, there were too many people, all from different places, and the lists of survivors were made amidst the panic of the catastrophe. Not surprisingly, it was impossible to identify each person. You can visit the Fairview Cemetery in the city of Halifax, Nova Scotia, Canada. More than 100 victims of the Titanic are buried there. About 30 of them still don't have names. Surprisingly, investigations are still ongoing. In 2008, for example, one of these graves finally got a name. Extensive DNA testing and a worldwide genealogical search helped identify the body of a 19-month-old baby. The unnamed
Oh, Struth. Oh.
body, 96 years later, has recovered its name, Sidney Leslie Goodwin. Not enough lifeboats.
This is what I said. This was astonishing. This was absolutely incredible.
When designing a train,
¿Nunca jugaste Crossout? Hazlo ahora.
We have an
Crossout es
ad,
un
of
juego
course. Yeah,
gratis
we
y
have
uno
an
de
ad.
acción donde creas, conduces
For me, this was astonishing. This was unbelievable, and this should not have happened.
Transport vehicle, great attention is paid to the safety of the passengers. Engineers and designers do everything possible to ensure that as many people as possible can be saved in the event of an accident. But in the case of the Titanic, something went wrong. Very wrong. When it was launched, the Titanic was the largest ship in the world. It could hold a total of 3,547 people. That's an incredible number. Fortunately, when the Titanic made its first voyage, there were fewer people on board. According
that's what I mean.
to official data, there were 2,224 registered passengers. And now, for the most interesting part. The original plan was for the Titanic to carry 48 lifeboats. However, the owners of the liner insisted that their number be reduced to 20. The capacity of each lifeboat was about 60 people. A simple mathematical calculation allows us to discover that only 1,200 people could have been saved.
That's so horrible. That's so horrible. I hope those people lives with that for the rest of their life. I'm not a person that says those sorts of things, but I hope they live with that for the rest of their life. How evil that was.
A little more than half of the passengers. Why weren't more lifeboats installed? The official reason is that they would have taken up too much space on the deck.
A famous man once said, "Too much space on the deck." And we know exactly who would have been complaining about that, huh? A lot of the Karens.
Blocking the passages and covering up the beautiful view of the ocean. So, appearance and comfort were placed above the safety of people. To be fair, the ship was considered unsinkable. No one expected it to sink so easily. Everyone
Unsinkable? Okay. Unsinkable. Unsinkable. Unsinkable ship. Unsinkable ship. What's unsinkable? Even icebergs sink. Well, not really. Oh, they float.
thought that even with damage, the Titanic could stay afloat for a long time. In other words, the immediate and simultaneous evacuation of all passengers was not considered a possible.
But that's a gamble on people's lives. How can you gamble on people's lives like this? I don't understand. How can you gamble on people's lives? That's unfathomable.
Situation. The drill was canceled. There is a thing known as a lifeboat drill. During a drill, the crew perfects the skills of preparation of the boats, their launching, and control. In addition, passengers are prepared for possible evacuation. They learn to evacuate while remaining calm, and in case of emergency, they understand better how to behave and don't fall victim to panic.
I said that the other day. I was talking to, I think it was my parents, and I was talking about how big cruise ships, they should all, when people get on, they should all have safety protocols that they need to run through and show everyone, similar to what they do on planes, yeah, when they hop on planes. Because people just hop on ships and there's nothing, yeah. When you hop onto a ship, they should put everyone at the front, well, half of the people at the front, half of the people at the back, and demonstrate every single place where you can run through emergency wise, or where you can go to catch one of the lifeboats, the life jackets. They should have had enough life jackets for everyone too, guys. That's another thing as well.
Ideally, these exercises should take place once a week. The Titanic sailed on April 10th, so it's not surprising that the drill was scheduled for April 14th. But for some mysterious reason, it was canceled. To this day, no one knows why Captain Smith chose not to conduct the drill. Perhaps he was too confident, or perhaps he thought that since there were only 3 days left to travel, it wasn't necessary. Either way, the decision cost a lot of people their lives. The passengers, as well as the crew, were not prepared for an emergency evacuation. That's why some boats designed for 60 people, in some cases, were launched only half full. Musicians
Half full. Half full. And I bet you the people that were snobby and had money didn't want the lower class to go in a boat with them either.
played until the end.
This was beautiful. That was beautiful. My heart was just melting seeing those violinists, that band play. Just melting. Absolutely ripping to shreds, guys. Oh, that was one of the most beautiful things ever. Oh, man. Talk about companionship. Those fellas at the end there playing together was just... Oh, that was just majestic.
Although the Titanic boasted an amazing size and capacity, it also stood out for its interior decoration. Luxuriously furnished living rooms, reading and smoking halls, and a gymnasium. All this was at the service of the first-class passengers. The crew included a large number of cooks, waiters, bakers, and of course, musicians. 8 people to be exact. Here's a quote from a second-class passenger who was lucky enough to escape from the Titanic. Many brave things were done that night, but none were more brave than those done by men playing minute after minute as the ship settled quietly lower and lower in the sea. Despite the fear, trouble, and panic, despite knowing that their lives were about to come to an end, these brave men held their instruments in their hands and continued to play until the end, until the last second. They knew that music calmed people, made the tragedy less terrible, and therefore they could not stop. None of the 8
that bit with the kids too, with the mum. Oh, dude, that was...
musicians survived. Only 3 bodies were found. The youngest of them was 21 years old. Tragedy could have been avoided. David Blair is a very lucky man. He was supposed to be the second officer on the Titanic, but at the last second, he was pulled out. This incident saved his life, which should have made him incredibly happy, but something clouded his joy, because maybe he was the only person who could have saved the Titanic. How? 100 years ago, ships were not equipped with smart, advanced technology like they are today. To see a threat on the horizon, people had to keep an eye out. Binoculars were of great help, but here's the problem. The crew of the Titanic had no access to the room.
So, yeah, that makes me think, though, if he says that, could truly one person change the outcome of that whole situation? This is why I go back to, guys, how one person can change the course of history, yeah? Could he have done this? Could he have changed it all? Who knows? Would everything be different if they just taught people about the safety protocols? Why did they lock the gates on the people that were in the lower class? Why did they do that? Why? Tell me why. We all know why they locked the gates on the lower class, yes? We all know why, yeah? We all know why.
He left the ship in a hurry, and he simply forgot to return the key. He left it in his pocket. If the crew had had access to the binoculars, they would have noticed the iceberg in advance. The ship would have had time to change course.
Yeah, that was weird. They didn't have binoculars, did they? Now that I think about it, they didn't have binoculars from the, what is it called? The man something. What is it called? The mast. What is it called? I forgot what it's called.
Hundreds of people would have remained alive, but the Titanic seemed to attract bad luck. A series of coincidences and mistakes led to disaster, a fate from which it could not escape. Miss Unsinkable. In the late 19th and early 20th centuries, White Star Line was considered the largest shipping company in the world. In 1907, its owners decided to build 3 huge ocean liners. As you may have guessed, the Titanic was one of them. The other ships were the Olympic and the Gigantic, later named Britannic. No matter how huge and luxurious these incredible ships were, all their stories ended in tragedy. These 3 are rightly considered the most famous ships in history. There are many books and films telling their story, but there is something they all have in common, or to be precise, someone. Violet Constance Jessup. Born in Argentina, this unremarkable stewardess is known as Miss Unsinkable.
Yeah, right.
On September 20th, 1911, the ship Olympic crashed with the cruiser Hawk. The incident, fortunately, left no victims. Violet was on board the ocean liner at the time. When the Titanic hit an iceberg, she was also on board. Luckily, she was able to get to a lifeboat. And
what? Talk about cheating their fed income.
finally, during World War I, Violet served as a nurse with the British Red Cross. She was sent aboard the Britannic, which was then a hospital ship. On November 21st, 1916, the huge ship was blown up by a mine, but Violet survived the accident. Now do you understand why she's Miss Unsinkable?
Okay, she is, yes. But she's Miss Lucky as well. Oh my lord. How can you be so lucky? Surely death was up, you know what I mean? Surely death was up in arms, and he was like, how dare she get away with it for the third time? Oh, death would be knocking.
By the way, the woman
A bit longer.
originally did not want to work for White Star Line, but her friends convinced her to work on the Titanic, assuring her that it would be a great recommendation in the future. We don't know whether to call Violet Constance Jessup lucky or not. Let's just say that this series of incidents is somewhat mysterious and curious. The engineer's sacrifice. We have already talked about the large number of crew members on board the Titanic. Now let's focus on this fact, and at the same time, pay tribute to the people who did everything possible to save others. About 900 crew members worked on the Titanic. Less than a third survived. Among the victims were all the engineers. That's because they simply didn't have time to save their lives. 25 engineers, 6 electrical engineers, 2 boiler makers, a plumber, and a clerk. While there was panic and fear on the deck, they stayed down in the boiler rooms. They needed to keep them running so that there would be electricity and the pumps would continue to pump the water. They were fighting against death for every inch of the ship. The engineers didn't want to give up, and most of them probably didn't know that they were only delaying the disaster and that it was not possible to prevent it. Yet these people remain an example of courage, bravery, and devotion. In the city of Southampton, on the south coast of Britain, there is a memorial in their honor. That's all for today. See you soon.
See, are those people the true heroes, guys? Are those people the true heroes, those ones? Yes, they knew that death was imminent, but also they knew that giving them that little bit extra time, it gives people a fighting chance, yeah? And that's all you need in this world, is a fighting chance to survive. When we all get a fighting chance to survive, that is when you will see a lot of people make most of their chance, yeah? Because they know that they're fighting for survival, yeah? You will see the best come out of people and the worst come out of people as well. So that's all people need, is a fighting chance. And that's what the engineers and people in the boiler rooms down deck. That's all they wanted to give people, yes? They knew they were going to die and people were going to die because the ship was going to sink. But just imagine working down there and boom, hitting that iceberg straight away, guys. Just imagine that, okay? I just want you guys to imagine that. That would be absolutely terrifying as well. Because I say to you guys, the worst thing in the world is freezing to death and drowning. Because it's a slow, painful thing. It is a very slow, painful thing. It's one of the worst, you know, as well as getting eaten. Eaten by, I don't know, a shark, for example. the slow, painful deaths are the worst kind of deaths in the world. So I enjoyed this a lot. I enjoyed it a lot, and I had no idea that what's the other one? Not the Olympic. The other one. Where is it? Where is it? Here. Gigantic. I didn't realize the Gigantic was changed to Brit. To
Britannic.
Britannic, sorry, Britannic. The Gigantic was changed to Britannic, yes? I had no idea about that. I had no idea that the Britannic was also part of it as well, part of the same crew that made these other cruise ships, yeah? So that was fascinating to find that. And we all know Britannic now, they make dictionaries, they make everything, books, they make English books, everything like that. We all know the big brand that Britannic is. So, I mean, for me, this was really, really fascinating because it just makes you, think of what sort of things could have changed the outcome within the Titanic, yeah, with everything that unfolded, yeah. What sort of approaches they could have done to prevent a lot of the things. And I think one of the big things that they should have done is another way to invest in having the life-saving boats, okay, the boats throughout the whole ship, and enough for every single person, yeah. And also have it monitored in a way where no matter if you're rich, no matter if you're poor, there's bums per seat, yes, but you have to make sure that there's enough spacing, okay, so you're counting the actual people, yes, because if you've overstacked certain boats, then the boats, obviously they're going to snap or break or not even be able to be lowered properly, yeah. So you got to take that into account as well. And also, I don't know if this is true, but I heard some of the people that actually got away in the boats, some of them died from frostbite too. Let us know, guys, if that was true. I didn't see anything about that, but let us know if that was true as well. Some of the people that got away on the boats actually died because of the cold, yeah? So let us know about that, guys. And I was hearing people in the comment section, some people were saying that, don't you think they could have survived in the water? And I was just... I didn't reply at all, but I just saw a couple of people, like 2 people, say that, and that was far-fetched. I mean, it's freezing cold water minus whatever it was. There's no way, no chance, yeah? If a ship can snap in half in 2 minutes and sink instantly, what's the chance of a human surviving, yeah? But, yeah, absolutely incredible. My hearts and condolences go out to everyone that is involved. Well, any family members that were involved in the sinking of the Titanic, or any cruise ships or accidents that have happened similar to this around the world. My heart does go out, because a lot of people, when things like this happen, a lot of bodies don't get recovered, yeah? A lot of accidents that happen with planes as well, bodies don't get recovered, and families just, yeah, I feel real bad for the families that don't get to see their loved ones anymore, and don't even get to have the body back or anything like that. So, but there's a lot of information that we've taken out of just this little fact. Well, I don't know if it's factual at all, but this little video, yeah, this little video, bone-chilling Titanic facts. That's why I said factual, but I don't know if it's factual. Let me know if you guys agree with what he was saying. Let me know in the comments, all right? But like I said, guys, I'll be doing these more often. I really did enjoy it. Let us know if you enjoyed it down below. I'd love to hear your thoughts and opinion. Are any of these true? Let us know. Or if you want to add more information, let us know in the comments. Any other videos similar to this, but movie related, guys, not conspiracies, okay? Movie related, similar to this, yeah? Movie related. Let us know in the comments, guys, and over on Patreon as well. All right, guys, I'm going to head out. I love each and every single one of you. I'm going to go record Avatar. I'll speak to you all very, very soon. Take it easy. Good night, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are around the world. Take it easy, guys. Oh, don't forget to watch movies out in full in Patreon down below. Titanic you can watch in full as well, guys. Go check it out. Anyway, guys, take it easy. I'll speak to you soon. Bye, guys.